Hello everybody, and I'm super excited today. The time has finally come. I'm going to be starting on my trailer. I've now got the depth mark there where it sits into the trailer bed, so I know the set distance from there. So on the front post, I'm going to have the headboard pegged at the top and the bottom. So what I'm going to do is measure up, and what I'm thinking about doing is setting the peg at 1 3/4 inches from the top and 1 3/4 inches from the bottom, which might not work because of the depth there. So what I need to do is go to there, so it needs to be 2.5 inches up. So as you can see from there, from the, or 2.25 I'll probably get away with, 2.25 from the bottom. So that is a distance of 3/4 of an inch, which makes up 3/8. So 2.25 is 2 2/8 plus 3/8, so that's 2 5/8. So if I measure 2 5/8 from the set square, then that will be our distance from the bottom, which is there. So I'm going to scribe it and then just put a little mark on the scribe so I know where it is, even though it's that way. Then find the centre, which should be at 25mm, because it is a metric box section. I apologise for the mess in the background, but we was working outside, and I don't know if you can hear, but it's raining quite heavy now, so yeah, we've had a bit of a change of plan, so we wanted this instead. That's 25mm there. Set square, moving gloves. So I put my set square across there and then move already, so that's got them two back in line. I know that my mark is there for that, so for these two I can go straight across. Then get me 25mm again, and we're going to jig all this up in the milling machine and drill them all together to make it correct so they're all the same. So we just need the measurements to get the first one going, so that's the first one there. So we know that's 2 5/8. So I've also got a mark at this end at 2 5. So that's me 18 inches. It's a little bit over at the moment. We're going to trim that back afterwards at the end. I'm just leaving a little bit extra because I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put have that sitting slightly higher than the sides or not. I'm probably going to trim it just flush and then put a blanking cap on the top, is my current train of thought, but I'm leaving it just to give myself options at the moment. So again, 2.5, 2 and 5/8 is there. Measure across with the set square, do the two together. Okay, so this is going to be headboard, so I'm going to mark it. And this one's going to be headboard. This one needs trim, that all needs trimming off. Originally it's for 24-inch size, but we're going 18 now. Head. We now need to do the sides, and the sides are only having one at the top, so one there, one there, one there, one there. mark on the side just for reference, because I don't want any mistakes. So spin that over. Once again, I can pull them together and use my set square just to get everything correct. So that is now for ingredients on a burr, which isn't great, so push that back like so. That's correct there. And I can now use the same scribe mark with my set square, transfer it across onto this side. I've got my references there so I know which mark it is. And put a big circle on it. On that one, I can now turn this one over. Once again, use a set square to get the bottom correct where it goes into the trailer, like so, and then use the scribe line on this side to transfer that to there. So we now have a headboard 1, 2 and a side 3, and the same on this one. Our headboard is 1, 2 and the side is number 3. So on the other two we only need a side one because the tailgate is actually held on a different way. So what I'm going to do now is go over to the milling machine and we'll set the stop for here, like we did the other day. We'll get it in the vise at the correct centre point and we'll get them drilled. Then we can turn it around, move the table across and get these ones ready. So that's what we're doing next. So we've still got the vise trammed in parallel from when we were doing the hinges. I'm using the same stop, so this was the bolt we're using to set the distance for the holes on the hinges. I've tapped this round square so I hit square against his face. Loosened off the table locks. We've got the centre point installed, so now we can just wind the table across. Somewhere there we can then bring the point down and we'll lock it slightly off the material. So as you can see we're still a little bit out. We've got a bit of clearance there, slide it across. So we're looking pretty good that way. Wind it in a little bit, cross a little bit more. Have a look from this side, so we can see there we've gone slightly too far. Wind. So let's go back a touch. About there. Around there somewhere. Okay, so that's now down in the centre pop hole. So what I'll do is I will lock the table off because we don't want it to move. And the same underneath. So what that does, it just takes any of the backlash out of the table. So we can now make sure the vise is tight. and we can now find a drill that is the correct size for the lug. So that's what I'm going to do now. Got my pilot drill in now to make the first hole. Can't find the drill really the right size. The lug itself, which I've now left over there, the lug itself, it's not perfectly round. It's just like a metal casting thing. It's a bit rough, shall we say, but it's going to serve a purpose, isn't it? So it's going to be fine for what we want. So I'm going to start with a smaller drill, and we can always make the hole a little bit bigger if necessary. It's easier to make the hole bigger than it is smaller. The only thing I don't want to do is be in a position where the lug's too loose in the hole. I'd rather hammer it in a little bit just so that it stays square for, you know, welding, or make it that little bit easier. But we'll find out with this first test hole. And drills normally drill a little bit oversized anyway, so it's very hard to find a drill that drills bang on unless it's brand new. So yeah, let's put that out of the way. Bit more oil. There we go, and see what happens. Easy as that. So that little bit out. I'll do my chucky. Lisa. Right, hang that on there a minute, and then just have a look. Yes, that one is way too small. What have we got here? So we got a bigger drill bit, and I found it. Lose my head if it wasn't screwed on, but oh, such is life. Okie dokie, put it back up there so that's where it lives. Out you come. Yeah, there we go. That'd be nice when that's tapped in there with a hammer. Not sure how much of an offset I need on it to get a decent weld on it. But yeah, we will get that tapped in there and get a weld in it, and then make it a good tight fit. So happy with that. That's going to work well. It's now jigged up, so take that off, get the swarf off so it sits clean in the vise. So that's the head. Get the other one for the head. So because we've marked it all now, we can drop it in, put it up to the stop, make sure it is pushed down flat on the bottom of the whip piece of the vise. Find a little drill bit. Was that one? That was it. Go the right way with a chuck. Get my glove out because I was stuck in it. Chucky! I'm gonna have to go and get a coat because it's bitterly cold and damp today. Without gloves, this job will not be happening. Bring it down a little bit. Rubber cutting fluid. Perfect. Don't know why I've got into the bad habit of using that to stop the machine. It's easier than pressing over there, I guess. Because that do being a bit tighter, it moves, so you press the stop and it moves, or at least when you hit the whatever, you can sort of take the force off the side of it to stop it moving so you can hit the button properly. Oh, that's a bit swole, that's nasty. Very naughty. I'll bring that one back in. Like so. Curtain oil. Oh, stuff smoking, stuff not around. That's dangerous, isn't it? Oh dear. Something in my capacitor box is smoking as well. Oh dear, dear, dear. Let's send that on there. Smoke is not good. Smoke is not good. Okay, we need to have a look and see what that is. So we have a problem. We have an electrical problem. The problem is when I turn it on, we have smoke. Lots of smoke. So we need to find out what that is before we do any more. Smoke normally means expensive. So the beauty of this now is we should just be able to flip it over and go again. So okay, so release that, flip it over, push it up to the start. Small drill back in. So all we've got to do now is the same for the other posts. But at least with this little jig setup, does make it a lot easier. So let's get the rest done. I've got the post drilled now, got the holes in, that is drilling the post. What I'm doing is basically trying to square this face up here with the set square. So I'll pop it on there and slide it across like so, get that square. Because it's on a taper, it is very hard to get it where you want it. So the idea is to use 2 set squares and eyeball it roughly in the middle. And the other thing to do then is also make sure that it's pretty central that way, which looks pretty good as well. So I'll get a couple of tacks on that now, and once that's tacked on, we'll be able to give it another check and make sure it's good. So just find somewhere to put the camera. Might be easier said than done. I have no idea how much you guys are going to see from there at all. Not a lot if it falls over, but more stable box. So yeah, hopefully you're able to see from there what I'm doing. That's all. Gloves on. Easy boy. Mask on and couple of little tacks. Lovely job. And put that on there. that's the last lug welded on the corner posts. All it needs now is just grinding down a little bit. It has undercut in. There was about 1/8 of an inch undercut on it for me to fill up with material. So I can now just clean these off a little bit. Once I put the sides on, then I'll see how it all fits flush against it, etc. So I'll get a better idea of where I'm going to put packing material to make the hinge and the pin fit tight to each other. But so far, I'm really happy with that. That's yeah, gone really well, I think, really well. So I'm sure the welding can be better in places, but you know, it's not bad for a beginner, is it, shall we say? Been a beginner for the last like 30 years, but yeah, still a beginner. Never claimed to be professional.